All right, folks, we're at the top of the hour, so we got a little bit of a celebrity in for us. We got Matthais Beer in to do our demo for this evening. So, as typical with all demos, unless it's solicited from the demonstrator, there will be times when Matthais will be doing changeovers, and he may or may not solicit questions from the group. But in the meantime, let's hold everything to the end of the demonstration. Feel free to put them into the chat during those breaks. Typical as whenever I do it for any other demo, I'll ask those questions that are put into the chat when I know it's a safe time for Matthais to be able to respond to them. And so with that, I am going to mute everybody. And then Matthais, you'll need to unmute yourself.
I think I'm unmute. Okay, here I am. And you're muted too.
Yep, we're all muted except you.
There we go. How's that? Sorry, I had the wrong one unmuted. So Matthais, I'm gonna go ahead and put up your social media slide, and then at the same time you can go ahead and talk about it. All right?
Okay. Yeah. Good evening, everybody.
Contact information. There we go.
Okay. Good evening, everybody, and thank you very much to have me here. But first of all, sorry for my English, and if you have questions, just please talk slowly because so I will understand better. Thank you very much.
All right, there he is.
Good evening.
Evening.
Yeah, thank you, Dane. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
And also for the introduction. And first of all, I would like to introduce myself, just a few minutes for that, and then we will start. Yeah, I'm Matthais Beer, and really Beer is my name. It's not just a joke, but it is my name. And I'm a wood turner and a professional wood turner. I'm turning for 40 years now. I started in 84, yes, in 84. And I did a wood turning apprenticeship in Switzerland. That means that you work for a hosting company for 4 days a week, and the 5th day you go to school. It lasts 3 years, or it lasted 3 years in my time, but now it's 4 years. And they do also very complicated stuff, more stuff, and different materials too. So it's still a very, very interesting apprenticeship. I worked in a company, we produced, just producing kitchenware, like peppermills, nutcrackers, and handles for everything, fork handles and so on, and yeah, hundreds and hundreds, and that sounds really boring. Also, if we talked already about Steve Jones, he still does it, and he always says, no, it's not boring, but for me it is. So I'm happy that time changed, that I don't have to turn, for example, the chair handle, no, handrail columns. That's a job I really hated, and so I'm very happy that this is not. We don't do that anymore. Yeah, but it became harder to make a living from wood turning, because in the beginning I started by myself, by my own, in 90, and I worked for joiners, for cabinet, or for furniture makers, like legs for tables and all this stuff. Or I worked for people who restored old furnitures and all that, but it doesn't exist anymore as a work. What I do now is more teaching. That's the most I do, or I live from teaching, and then I do demos in the whole world and online. Yeah, that's I met Martin last weekend in Germany, and we really had a good time there. That was a fantastic weekend. Very interesting also for me, because it's the cradle of wood turning, of I think of Europe mainland wood turning. It's really the cradle. There are other spots, but as he told, wood turners everywhere, and special techniques, and it was super interesting. And then I have some piece here to show you what I do now. Of course, I do all the stuff you can sell on markets, but what I prefer doing is coloring. That's my yeah, I love that. Yeah. So of course, the difficulty of this is finding the right piece. But if you find a piece like this, it calls colors. And I have another nice one. Yeah, probably you have seen these pieces, because I also post them on this group.
On the group page.
Yeah, this
Beautiful.
is another really nice piece I love. And the last one is this one. This is a birch barrel, and on the back is quite dark, but on the burly part it is
Beautiful.
Yeah, thank you. I love these three pieces, and I didn't bring them in Germany because I was a little bit afraid about the border control, because we are not Europe.
Right.
So I only brought smaller pieces, but I love this one. Yeah, I don't know if I forgot something about me. I don't think so.
It's a good intro. We'll get more the next time we have you on.
Thanks. And today I want to show you something more technical, not that artistic, but a little bit more technical. And what I'll do, it will be freehand perfect sphere. That's what we will do together this evening, or for me it's morning because it's
Tomorrow?
1 o'clock and it's already Thursday. Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, a freehand perfect sphere. That's a plan for today. And yeah, this one
Little wet.
the crack was already in, so it
Wow.
dried, cracked, and then I turned it. So it is still perfect. And I do a lot, but it's now sometime that I don't. Like this one, for example, is a fig tree, and
Wow.
the same here. It's a perfect sphere, but with this crack in, and this is the same one, but I first turned it and then it dried, so it is not round anymore, but this one is still perfectly round. I have more of them, and of course I prefer spheres with something special in.
Void.
And so they really have no reason to be perfectly round. You could do them also freehand about the sphere, it would be enough. But you will see the technique I use. It's something I really love doing. So every time I do a sphere, I use this technique if it needs to be perfect, or also if it doesn't need to be perfect. I have a piece of olive wood for today, and olive wood is very interesting because in the hardwood is every time very not colored, but
The striations of grain.
yeah, exactly. Yeah. But if you just turn a cylinder, usually you are still in the sapwood and it's boring. But then a sphere, you have always more parts, so you can see the end grain part, and it's very nice, and then you can see the side grain part, and it's more boring, but it's a very nice wood. I love it. Yeah, so let's start. Before starting, any question?
Any questions, anybody? Floor is open.
Fig tree. Around here, fig tree is real soft.
Sorry.
You have a different kind of fig tree. Ours is real soft wood, real
okay.
funky almost.
This one is really hard, very heavy and very hard. And you will see later, I will create a jam jack for that. We will work without center point, and the fact that is so hard and very compact will be a little bit difficult to make it stay in the jam jack. Yeah, before I start, I will show you what I have prepared for doing that. So yeah, this is the piece of olive wood. Then I have a piece of maple. I will use this for the jam jack, and a jack, of course. My face shield I will use that only for starting. You have seen there is some bark on, and you always risk that a piece of bark flies in your face or whatever. So in the beginning, I will use the face shield, and then I have I will need this caliper, yeah, and the gouges I will use are my preferred roughing gouge, a 40 mil roughing gouge. I still have this from my apprenticeship, but I really love this roughing gouge. And then I will use a simple
Spindle gouge.
spindle gouge. Thank you very much. And parting tool, of course.
Yep.
I love this one, diamond shape. I have a Q, and I won't use it as a skew, but it will be a scraper today. Okay, sorry, Steve Jones. And I have here also a bowl gouge. I will use the bowl gouge for creating the jam jack. I will use both gouges, the spindle gouge and the bowl gouge, just to show the technique I will use. And that's it. Yeah, I have also well, I don't know how it is called. It's just to remove the bark, the loose bark from the piece
Like a
of
badan.
wood.
Chisel?
Chisel, simple chisel. Okay, so I already prepared the center for my drive spore, and
Can we switch the camera, Matthais?
thank you.
Yep.
Thank you. Sometimes you have to remember me that, because
No
I
worries.
often forget. Okay, I have
It's for standing.
I
So
do.
Matthais,
Yeah.
we have a joke, or what we coined the wood bits that go flying. We here in America we call it, well, here within the group we call it birdwood. So off
A
Deutsch
bird.
it would be Flugholz.
Flugholz or
Yeah, yeah,
Vogelholz. Yes, yeah,
yeah.
exactly. Yeah, I hope okay. I have to admit, I have prepared the second piece, a spare piece, so you never know.
Yeah.
I
God's
didn't
good.
want to tell you that, but now here we are.
Like the Boy Scouts.
Hey, we all do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course we do. I have live streams usually Saturday in the afternoon on my YouTube channel, and yeah, the problem of the cameras, switching the cameras, is every time the same. Sometimes they don't have the possibility to talk to me, so sometimes I work for a few minutes and I don't realize that I'm on the wrong camera. So that's about the cameras. Okay, I just will remove the loose bark, but mostly the bark is stable, I think. No, not that much, no. just the loose parts. I think that's okay like this, and I will put on my face shield. That means that probably the sound will be a little bit
Muffled.
yes,
Alles
but
klar.
just in the beginning, and after I will remove the face shield. I put the microphone in my front because I can't put on the face shield and the microphone together. And I have seen the question. I don't watch the chat, but just this one I saw. So the size of the piece is 12 centimeters. Sorry, I am a centimeter guy, not an inch guy. You have to do the math by yourself. It's 12 centimeters of length and about 9 of diameter. And my idea is to do, I hope that it works, to do a 8 centimeter sphere. Oh, let's start the lathe, and this is the wrong direction. Okay, now here we are. Okay, I'm running by 1,500 RPMs. Nice grain in the olive wood. I have still a little bit of bark here, but I don't care about that. I want to do 8 centimeters, and now I'm on 80, 84, 83 and a half millimeter. I will go to 81 in the beginning. You will see the reason in a few minutes. Okay, here we are. And I'd like to say something about safety also. Probably, and Martin has seen that in Germany too. We have less safety standard, or not a really high safety standard. That's we are not used to that. I started wood turning, and when I started with Facebook, I had to learn that we have to pay more attention. Not, I didn't learn it at school or in the hosting company, but I learned that on Facebook that the safety standard, especially in the United States, is another than ours. And so you will see very often German or Swiss wood turners and say, oh, what's about safety? And yeah, we don't really have this high standard. I have to admit that. And so sometimes you will see making me stuff you wouldn't do by yourself, but yeah, I'm sorry for that. Okay,
No, it's okay.
Now the diameter is now 81. Let me check. It's 80 already. Okay. And I should have, where is it? I prepared a piece of cardboard for making a template, but it disappeared. Ooh. Windy weather. Oh. Yeah, found it. I prepared this. Yeah, this is the camera. This piece of cardboard. I will use this as a template after, and to create the perfect diameter, I will put it now on my piece of wood, and it will burn a little bit, and by this I can, because with the scissors I didn't have a perfect arc, yes, and now it is perfect now. Okay, that's the template we will use later, and the next step is signing 3 lines, and these 3 lines we have really to do one measure with the caliper I made. It's 80 the diameter, and now I will sign the center, and I will sign the left end and the right end. So this is 4 centimeters and 4 centimeters, and the center line, that will be the equator.
Yep.
I don't know if you can see that, but now I will. Now you will see that. Okay.
Yeah, we can see now.
Oh, not very good, I see. Okay, but I will add 4 other lines, because I will add half a millimeter in the length on every side, and I will add 1 millimeter in the middle. So in the middle now I have 3 lines, and on every side I have 2 lines. The first cut I will do is a straight cut down with the parting tool, and it's very, very important that this first cut will go down straight, very straight. It shouldn't be conical in the direction of the inside of the future sphere, especially if it is conical a little bit on the outside of the sphere, it doesn't matter. We can correct that later. But if it goes to the inside of the sphere, we will not be able to correct that later. So let me do these two cuts, and I will do the cuts a little bit. So if you are not sure that you will be able to cut really perfectly straight, so just do the cut a little bit outside of the line, and then you can do a second cut. If you're sure that you can cut it straight, so cut on the second line. Both sides. And we can remove the wood that we don't need. I do that with the roughing out, but probably you are more comfortable doing it with the spindle gouge. Both is okay. Now we have not the final length of the piece, but the length of the approximative sphere we will create before doing the perfect sphere. The next step, if there is a question about this, probably, or the skew, of course, absolutely.
Matthais, you went to the second line, the one that's 1 millimeter or half a millimeter outside of the original line. Is that right?
Exactly.
Can you tell me why you did that?
The next step here is to create an approximative sphere, but the approximative sphere should be a little bit bigger than the final sphere. So that's the reason.
Thank you.
Thank you. So the next step is the approximative sphere. And that is probably the most important step in all this in all this process here, because the better you make the approximative sphere, the better will be the result of the final sphere. That doesn't mean that it has to be very spherical. It's not this, but if you do an approximative sphere on the left or on the right side, the approximative or hemisphere on the right side, the other side should be equal to the first side. So that's more important, not the perfect sphere or the good sphere in the beginning, but the both of the hemispheres should be equal. That's important.
Makes sense.
Remember, the center line is already the perfect diameter. I do that with the spindle gouge. Oh, that looks already pretty good. So I go a little bit more down on the left and on the right side. I left by parting, I left about 2 centimeters of diameter, just to not have it too thin and have vibrations. But now I'd like to go a little bit further, and you can hear already that it starts to vibrate a little bit. And now you have the two choices. You can decide by eye visual control, and you can decide, okay, that's quite equal with both the sides. I could zoom a little bit in, I think.
Ah, looks good.
No, more doesn't work. Okay. Or you can use the template you prepared before, and you can check it and decide where you have to remove more material. But it's as I told before, it's not that important to have already a perfect sphere, but it's very important to have both sides equal. And I'm happy with this. It looks very equal. I could remove a little bit, but I don't think that it is really necessary. No, I'm happy. So that means that I will turn a little bit more down here on the left and on the right. I could do that with the point of the skew, and I will do that with the point of the skew. And on one side, I cut it. And this piece is
Straight away.
away too. And the first important step of our sphere is done. Any questions about these first steps?
So we have one question asking if it is of equal length.
It is equal. Sorry,
Almost
I didn't
has to be.
understand the last word.
No, on it being equal length on each side for it to be a sphere, it has to be the equal
It
length.
has to be equal. That's the most important thing. The equal length on both sides. That's the most important thing. Yeah. So I have 4 centimeters plus half a millimeter, or 40 millimeters plus half a millimeter on every side.
Right. Bob, does that answer your question?
Yeah, that answered it. Thanks.
Okay, thank you. You're welcome.
I thought that's what it was, but
Else?
Yeah, no worries.
Nothing else?
All is cloud.
Okay. So we will put by side this piece on this approximative sphere, and we will prepare our jack, our jam jack. You can do the jam jack in cross grain or end grain. is not very important. Personally, I prefer these chucks in end grain because they tend to crack less. Because when I prepare a chuck, usually I will use it for a while, not only for one sphere, and so if it lasts a little bit longer, it's better. Also, if you use it for a while, if you use it just once, it's not so important, but cross grain will move. So when you will use it the next time, it won't turn perfectly, and you have to refine it, and that means that your chuck grows. It's always for bigger and bigger and bigger spheres, while the end grain chucks don't practically move, so you can use them always for 80 mils, for example. Okay, let me prepare the blank for the chuck. Roughing. And then I have my chuck with the 70 mil jaws, and in compression, it is perfectly, it fits perfectly on 62 mils. So I will create a tenon with 62 mils, and for that I will use my caliper again. I put my caliper on 63, use the parting tool. Oh, that's 63. Perfect. And let me just say something about tenons. But it's a fixed idea of mine. I think a tenon has to be cut, not created by the parting tool, but it has to be cut. So you can do it with the skew, but cut, not scratched, scraped. Or you can do it with the spindle gouge, just doing a nice clean cut here. Why have I this fixed idea? Now this is maple, so it's not that important, but very often you have by scraping, you have on the side grain, you have tear outs, and in these places the wood is softer because you have more air. The grain is a little bit more open, and on the other two parts the grain is closer, and when you close the chuck it tends to wobble a little bit. Now you can say, okay, I can recut it and then it turns perfectly. But when I want to use my jam chuck more times, so every time I remove, I want to be sure that the next time I use it, it turns perfectly. And that means that I prefer creating a perfect tenon, cut tenon and not scraped tenon. Okay. And now I removed this millimeter that I had more. Now the diameter should be 62. It's a little bit less than 62, but still enough. And now I have a super clean tenon, and I can be quite sure that it will turn perfectly every time I mount it on my jack. Okay, while I change and mount the jack and then mount this piece on the jack, I have time to answer questions if needed.
If anybody has any questions, floor is open. At the moment, there is no questions
Okay,
asked in the chat, so carry on.
That means that I explain well.
Yes. Yes.
I hope so that this is the reason for no question.
No, you are being very good on describing what you were doing.
Now this is my jack, and it's just put on very well on the spindle, and then let me mount this piece, and then we can check if it wobbles or not. Shouldn't. Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay.
That's just rectish.
Next step is a clean cut. Oh, that was my sphere. It's already round enough to go down to the floor.
Yeah.
Let me just do a clean cut in the end crane here, straight down. Also here we have always several possibilities to do these cuts here. I can do it with the skew, and I love the skew, so I will do it with the skew. Okay. Another possibility would be the spindle gouge, same story. Oops. But you can do that also with the bowl gouge. I prefer that bowl gouge for that than the spindle gouge, but the tool I really prefer is the skew. Okay. Now,
Matthais, we have somebody that has a question. Howard, go.
Yes.
Dewey, go ahead, ask your question. Howard Johnson, ask your question.
There we go. I noticed whenever you was using the skew to make the end of your piece there square, that you beveled the edge before you actually do that. Why did you bevel the edge? It makes me starting easier.
if you go, and you have seen that I did the same cut with my spindle gouge, and I didn't cut the edge, and I immediately had a little catch. You can still see the signs here. If you do if you cut the edge, now you can start with your bevel rubbing the end of this cut, and it makes you just start much easier. If you have to start immediately with your point here, it's easy that you have a little in German it's called Nürnberger, like people living in Nuremberg, and I don't know why it's called like this in German, but it makes you start easier. That's not a thing you have to do, but for me, it makes me start easier.
Hey, thanks a lot.
Thank you. I'm always very, very happy about questions like this, and so feel free, please. Okay, and now I will do something that I don't know, probably some of you won't know this cut or heard about, but never tried, or I don't know. At least here in Germany, in Switzerland, it's not very well known, but I did that during my apprenticeship very often. It's the back hollowing. I have to prepare a sphere, a jack for my sphere. I will sign the diameter a little bit smaller, means 78 about. I will use this camera for now, and coming a little bit closer so you can see the piece here. Change camera. Okay, now yeah, this is a good position, is it?
Perfect. Perfect.
Okay, you can see this line here. This line is about 78 mils. Our sphere is 80 mils. Our jack will be 79. So a little bit smaller than our sphere. And now, end grain hollowing is always an issue. I know that, and we have several possibilities. And I really love the possibility of the back hollowing. So I do that with my spindle gouge. I could do it also with the I will show both with bowl gouge with a fingernail shape, and you can see it is a bowl gouge with a double bevel. So on the inside, with the double bevel, I can reach more depth, and I got a cleaner curve because I have more space to move. I will slow down a little bit for this technique, and then the most important thing is rubbing the bevel all the time. And then you start like this, and you work about from the center to 1 o'clock. And if you watch the shavings, you can see that it's a clean cut, a super clean cut. You may say, just for a cut or for a jack, we don't need this clean cut, and you're right. But It's always an opportunity to exercise a technique, difficult technique. I can do the same, and I prefer doing it here with the spindle gouge. Why do I prefer the spindle gouge here? Just because it's longer. This bowl gouge is quite short now, and with the spindle gouge I have a little bit more. It does the same job, huh? Now, let me do that without turning the lathe, and I'll try to go a little bit more in this direction. Okay, my handle is under my shoulder, and I have to be very stable, and we have to rub the bevel in the whole process. You can see the bevel is always in contact here with the wall of my future jack, and I have a second rubbing point, and it's the edge of my future jack. You can see that here, and it turns quite hot, my tool, and I work with these 2 points. This one rubbing the bevel. If I would work on 2 o'clock, for example, you can see the bevel is not rubbing anymore. So the good place and depends on the grinding angle. And if you have another grinding angle, this is about 1 o'clock. And with another grinding angle, it could change a little bit. But the important thing is not the where I work, but I have to work always in a place where my bevel is in contact. The bevel has always to rub. And then we have a third point here on our tool rest, and this is these 3 points. They gives me a lot of control. And yeah, let's go a little bit deeper and a little bit more diameter. So I start with the depth. I go deep, deep, and then I slowly enlarge my can turn in both directions, but only that's when you lose the bevel. Okay, should be or could be ready. It's still a little bit too small. Now our sphere has to fit in without covering the centers, the 2 centers. So it should fit in with a hemisphere, but not the whole. It should fit in like this is the center, a little bit less than the center. So the depth probably is good, but the diameter isn't. And for the diameter, I will now use the bowl gouge because this, you have seen that before, is a little bit aggressive in this zone, and with this fingernail grind I can do that a little bit better, I think. Of course, for a jack, I could also just scrape it out. It's a jack.
Yeah.
But I do that. I love doing that. I love this technique, and this is a good exercise. More. I already learned there in Germany that they have another shape for their gouge, a spindle gouge, only for, or especially for the back hollowing technique. I tried that. It's sharpened from the inside to here I am, from the inside to, so it's sharpened here, and the bevel is only 2 or 3 mils. And I tried it. Someone gave me one to try, and it works very well. You can reach more depth with this grind, but I found the finish a little bit less clean. But probably it was because it was the first time I used this gouge. So this is not that bad. I will do one more cut, and you can already see that it doesn't come out. I already have to use my hammer, this one, to put it out. Yeah, that's great. I really think that it should work. One more cut. You know this. One more cut.
Yeah. Ein mehr.
Yeah, that's great. Okay, and now I will stay still stay on this camera for a moment, but before I go ahead, I give you a moment for asking your questions if you have.
So we have a question asking, are you twisting the gouge more as you reach the outside of the diameter?
Let me go back. You mean here?
Yes.
So yeah, it comes automatically because you have to wrap the bevel. So you have to twist. You start with a really open
Close.
gouge, and then you have to close it for you because the cut is on the other side. So it must be really close. So you twist it from it's
As you're riding,
90.
as you're riding the surface to the outside diameter.
From 12 to
You-
like 3 or something.
you have, otherwise you would lose the bevel, and if you lose the bevel in this technique, you have really bad catches.
Sure, sure.
Yeah.
You don't want to really cut on the edge. You want to cut on the tip, right? More toward the tip rather than on the flat edge of the wing of the wing rather. Say the wing. You're not cutting on the
No, not the wing. The wing is not used. No, you're right. It's just here on the point you cut, and then you wrap the bevel behind the
It's like
the
any other
point. Yeah.
So that means that your tool rest is much higher than center line.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, you're right. Absolutely.
Much
You
higher
usually.
than center.
Usually I have the tool rest not that high, but now I'm higher.
Right.
No, I'm perfectly on the center.
Yeah.
So it is horizontal my tool now,
Perpendicular.
and then you have to go down. But there is also people working with the tool rest here. I'm not very comfortable, but it's probably just because I'm not used to do it. I learned it otherwise. So you can do that also, and that could be a little bit easier. I don't know. That's one thing that everybody has to try for himself. I think it's very often that you learn something, you feel good, and then you don't try anything else. But it's also good idea to try it in a different way. As Martin said before we started, and I really agree 100% with him, just because it's different, it's not wrong. Or try it. If you see something that is different than your style, try it, and then you can decide if it's wrong for you.
Sure,
For
I
you.
think it's smoother cut too, right?
So probably, yeah, I don't know. But when I have the tool rest here, when I do the curve, then I tend to touch or this part of the tool rest gives me a little bit of annoying or disturbing, or so I prefer working like this. Other questions?
That clears it up.
Okay, so next step is mounting our approximative sphere on our jack, and you can't mount it just how you want, but the important thing here, and you can use a pencil for this. You can do a circle here, and then the middle line has to cut the circle perfectly. And then we know that our equator is exactly on the axis, on the turning axis of our lathe. So now it isn't. It is a little bit on this side, so I have to bring it a little bit more on this side. It's too it's too much on this side. I have to bring it a little bit more on this side, and for doing that I can use a hammer. The only thing I forgot to prepare, but I have one here. Yes. Okay, so to do that I can just hammer a little bit here and then retry. I can switch on the lathe, do a circle, and then check if the middle line cuts perfectly in the center of the circle. I'm not sure if I am explaining that so well that you understand. I hope you do. Please, can you confirm that?
It's coming across clear to me. Hopefully it's coming across clear to everyone else.
Okay.
Yep. Yep.
Yes,
Seems
absolutely,
like to make
absolutely,
sense. Yes.
Okay.
absolutely.
Thanks. And now we have, you remember the center line of our approximative sphere is the only place that is already perfect on the measure we decided. And everything here is a little bit bigger and a little bit longer. You remember that we have 1 millimeter more in length, half a millimeter for every part. So it is bigger than this line. Now, the only thing we have to do is removing everything that is more than this line. That means we just cut until we touch the line, but we shouldn't remove the line. That is very important. Don't remove the line. And the problem is we don't see the line, but we can feel it. So we will turn until we feel with our finger that it is round, and then we can also stop and check, of course. We can use the bowl gouge for that. We can use the spindle gouge for that. But the important thing is now we are not turning end crane anymore. We are turning cross crane. And that means we have now to turn from the center to the outside and not from the outside to the center or to the axis anymore. Now we have to start here. We have to remove not very much here because we are very close to the line. And the more we go here, the more we have to remove. And in the beginning, we can use the spindle gouge, but I have to move a little bit my headstock. Okay. And after we can use the spindle gouge, rubbing the bevel and doing a proper cut. We can, after, because it is a little bit hard to do to bring away a minimum of material. So we can also do a scraping with the bowl gouge, or we can scrape that, as I told in the beginning, with the skew. Now I will start with the spindle gouge, and then for the last cuts, probably I will use the skew. I don't know if you can see that very well, but you can hear. This is the material that is more than our center line. I start here. I rub the barrel and I cut. I can see through the material that is more than the line. So for a while I can just cut and I see through, and I see if I have to remove more or not. But after a while I won't see through anymore. And of course, also from this side, I can cut, or I have to cut. And now I can start to scrape or also uh, shear cut is a good solution. And now I feel there is still material to remove, but I would like to have a look at it. And we still see the whole line on this part. We still see the whole line on this part. And you can see I cut now until this spot here and until this spot here. So there is still to remove a little bit of material. And just to show also the third solution, we can do that. And if you use the skew as a scraper, don't use it horizontal or don't use it like this, but use it like a little bit pending.
Tool handle raised, just like a scraper.
Yeah. And in this wood here that is very, very dense and compact, I don't create any tear out with this scraper, but in a soft wood, especially in conifers with very soft part on the growing ring and a very hard part on the growing ring. So the early growing part is very soft, and the autumn growing part is very hard. So you will have a lot of tear outs using the scraper. But in this wood here, using a scraper is a good solution. There is still material to remove. You can see that. So let me go ahead. I'm not a scraper guy. I'm a cutting guy, but in this case, the scraper is a good solution. And I learned it like this. This is part of my final exam of the wood turning apprenticeship. I had to create a sphere, a perfect sphere. 1/10 of a mil was permitted, and more than 1/10 was bad for the final note. I'm on a very good way. Still here is a little bit too much. Good. Okay, you can see here, I already touched the line. So there is a little bit of line missing. That means here I don't have to go ahead, but I can eliminate a little bit here and a little bit on the left side of the center. So here, I'll switch to the other camera now. Or tell me if you want me to switch back, but I think.
Oh, this is good.
Okay, I think I'm fine here with this. And now half of my sphere is done. I touched a little bit here the lines. That means that it wasn't probably perfectly equal. That's the reason. That's the only reason. But it's really a minimum. I think it will be a good sphere. Now, you saw we don't need a center point here. That is now hard to remove. Oh, it came out. Good. Now, obviously, the jack is too big. You can do that. Sometimes it works for both hemispheres, but rarely. So that means that I have to shorten a little bit the jack. And deepen. And let's try deeper. And try again. Okay, that's it. Now, we don't have to redo the center because now on this part, we already have a perfect, on this part, we already have a perfect sphere. So it is in the center. We can be a little bit more like this or a little bit more like this, but it's always on the sphere. So we don't have to pay too much attention to that now. Just a little hammering and oh, I have also prepared something. I will show you that later. Okay, same story on the other side. First cut, just cut a lot because there is still a lot of material to remove. And then still And then we go ahead with the scraper. That means that I have to go a little bit higher with the tool rest. And okay, there is still a lot here to remove. Yeah, it is. And here it's difficult to check. No, nothing. That's good, good. And from here to here, here a little bit and here a little bit. It's a good day for me today for the midnight demo, because tomorrow we have a holiday. So I can sleep tomorrow or today for me.
Always
Because
good.
yeah, that was because I immediately agreed with this day when you
Right, I remember.
gave me the date. So great moment. Okay, okay. I really think that we are done with this, and I would start with sanding, but before sanding, I will answer questions.
Does anyone have any questions? Floor is open. Just don't talk over each other.
The back hollowing, do you have to do anything different if it's side grain rather than end grain?
If it is,
If you turn that piece the other direction 90 degrees, do you have to do anything different? You know, like a bowl, you're cutting end grain, side grain.
no, you can't absolutely use this cut. No, you shouldn't, absolutely not, because you have if you have cross grain, you will hook in immediately. That doesn't work. And also because in cross grain, let me just change the camera for a moment. In cross grain, you have to work from the outside to the inside, so you don't have any reason also to do the back hollowing. If you do it in end grain, you always have to move to work, or you should work from the inside to the outside.
Right.
Also, if you scrape, it's better scraping from the inside to the outside. And then back hollowing is a really good solution. Another good solution, I love that, is the ring tool or the hook tool. But no, never use back hollowing in cross grain.
Okay, thanks.
It's a pleasure. Okay, we switch again the direction or of the no, that wasn't what I wanted to say. Okay, now sanding these pieces is very important, or not very easy. I will change the camera again. Sorry. Okay, because now this sphere is quite good in precision, and now when you sand too much, you know, here and here we have end grain, and here we have side grain. End grain is harder than side grain. When we sand too much, we will create an egg, not an egg, but an oval, because we will remove less material here than here. So it's very important that we continue to move our pieces during the sanding process, and it's also very important that we reach a good clean cut or scraping clean, so we have less to sand. That makes us changing less the precision of our piece. Now, I know it's really rare that you have to create a perfect sphere. Also, if it is 2 or 3 mils out, it works well. Nobody sees that, but it's a challenge. Okay, I sand with an inertia sander, and but it doesn't really matter. You can do that by hand, by machine, or by inertia sander. It is. Oh, I moved my jack a little bit when I put out the sphere. Okay. Oh, this is a 180 grit. And because the piece was clean enough to start with a 180. Now it's not perfect, but I will turn or move the sphere by 90 degrees. Now I have 1/2 sanded and the second half not sanded. I'll move it again. Now I have 3/4 are sanded, and now the last quarter is from here to here. I could put it also here. It's not that important, but I have the use to put it exactly in the center. Okay, and then I check about tear outs here. I can still see some of my lines, so I will put it random to clean what's to clean. I have a little tear out here. You can see that probably here, but
Oh yeah, just a little bit.
it's not
Kinda.
It's
Fine
not
dishing.
worth to talk about. And I have still one little, oh, I lost it. One little sign of my pencil. Don't know where I lost it. So
It's part of the grain.
it looks probably it was part of the grain. Yes, I love the grain. Huh? It is a nice piece. Okay, so that's enough. I would go ahead with sanding 240, 320 probably, or also 400, but that's just the same procedure. So I won't annoy you with this. But I would like to show you one thing. I forgot. I didn't need it, but sometimes when you have pieces of wood like this one, very compact, it is hard to make it stay in the jug. Now this one works very well, and if you have this problem, I'm a climber, and this is my magnesia bag, and you just can use a little bit of the magnesia and put it on the rim, on the inner rim of your jam jack, and then your piece of wood, no, it doesn't fit better, but it holds better, much better. And no, this is not fig, this is olive wood. Sometimes I notice the comment, so I answer immediately. That works very, very well. So that's the stuff also in sport they use
Chalk. Hand chalk.
chalk. Yeah, it's chalk. Yeah, exactly. And that works very well. So if you have sometimes a trouble to make hold your stuff in a jam jug, not only the spheres, you can use a little bit of chalk, and that helps a lot. Now
I will try that.
I'm a climber, so I tried that because I use I have it hanging here always, no, and then I
Yeah.
always when I'm in the rocks, I go to take some chalk, and then it works better. So I thought, yeah, if it works on the rocks, it will work also on wood, and it does. So
Yeah.
I just want to enhance the grain a little bit, because you can see it, but if I enhance that a little bit, you can see it better. And camera. Okay, I have here an oil, and how. So someone wrote, I talked about fig in the beginning, but wasn't this wood, but it was one I showed you. This is olive wood, and have a look at this.
Yeah, look at that grain.
The grain in olive wood is always really interesting. So
Beautiful.
if you see
Highly,
this side,
highly figured.
it's very, very high figured. Yes, exactly. And you can see this side. It's quite boring. There is no figuring, but if you see the end grain part, it is really fantastic.
Yeah, that's just lekker.
Okay.
My.
I think that's it. Did I miss something, or do you miss something?
No, I don't think so. Does anybody have any questions about the demonstration tonight?
No, that
Either
was
on the back
incredible,
hollowing or
great.
the
No,
turning
that
of the
was
No,
spear?
but it was very informative.
That was very enjoyable. Very enjoyable.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Let me talk just for a second about oils, and probably you know, but I always it's important to me to repeat that all the time. A lot of oils are highly auto-combustible, I think.
Yes.
Is that correct, said?
Yep. That's correct.
So pay always attention with towels soaked with oil. Put them in a jar with a cover, or put it in the fire immediately. I don't have a fire here, but perhaps you have. Really important. Pay attention with soaked towels or oil soaked towels, just to say.
It was an
Oh,
awesome
I
dance
know, I
demo.
have one more thing. I have one
Okay.
more thing, sorry. I forgot that before, but I have also two handouts.
Oh, yes. Sorry. I forgot to show those.
Yeah, I have them here too. Oh, I'm not able
I will
to.
send those. I will send them to Dave for the website.
Yeah.
Very good. Thank
Let me try. I have to do that here, not here. Yeah, of course. So this is a step-by-step file. Oh, with only photos, but step by step, starting with a sphere, and then yeah, everything we talked about today. And then I have the second one, too big also this one, sorry. From step 9 to step, I think step 13 and 14 are inverted, sorry. and yeah, that's I think you can find this on the chat, or where, Dane?
Yep.
On the chat.
Yeah, he
I'll
will
get
put,
it
he will
sent
put it
into
on the,
to the web.
it'll
Or-
be
I
on
will
our,
put it
it'll
on
be
the
on our website.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Okay, so that is one more help for you, because I know exactly how it is. You think to remember everything, but tomorrow is another day. And yeah, so these two files can.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. It was a pleasure to be with you this evening, or